What's going on, Bully fam? It's your boy, the educator, the scientist, Mr. Double Muscle Line Bulls. Bringing you another episode of Breeders Hacks. So, got a little bit of a drive. On my way to pick up Island Exotic Kennels Jonathan. He's gonna help me with some orders and things like that. You guys got us crazy busy over at Breeders Hacks. So I thought it'd be a good little kind of story time, because I had a follower hit us up telling us kind of like their story as to what happened whelping and things like this. So this is going to be a little bit of story time and maybe a little educational for all my my fellow whelpers. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so if I can find the message, I'm gonna put it somewhere here so you guys can see it. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about this what I'm about to tell you guys kind of till recently. I mean, because we've always whelped our own litters. Yes, recently we've had like a litter or two whelped from a guy, No Days Off Bullies. Shout out to bro. But yeah, up until then, I mean, we were whelping our own litters, and I mean, at the same time too, we've gotten a lot more busier. Shout out to you guys. I mean, I'm either on the phone helping out one of you guys, or responding to comments, questions, or even preparing orders. So like I said, having a whelper that allows me to stay a little sane with all the craziness. So anyway, long story short, right? So we had a person that follows us, hit us up, and they were thanking us. They said, thank you, for, selling me the Parvo Giardia snap test, because I had someone that actually, I guess what they do is they're a whelper, and they had a client that picked up their puppies, and they told the client, they said, hey, make sure your puppies don't go outside. They're not fully vaccinated yet. They don't have all their shots. They don't have, they're not completely dewormed, because you could deworm them once, but they got to get dewormed a couple of times. So the puppies were young, I would imagine 4 to 5 weeks old. So anyway, the person picks up the puppies get Parvo, they go to the vet confirms it's Parvo, and then the person is going crazy, I guess, kind of hitting up the whelper, blasting the whelper, saying, hey, my puppies got Parvo because of you, and I brought them home, all of a sudden they got Parvo. So luckily the whelper went ahead and used our snap test, and I guess she had a decent amount of them, whatever, and tested all the dogs in her facility, and to the surprise, none of them had Parvo. None of them had symptoms of Parvo. None of them later had Parvo. So it was helpful to the whelper, because if you're a whelper, or even if you're a breeder and you're just whelping this one other person's litter, whatever the case may be, like, Parvo is not a good look for business, period. As well as Parvo, I mean, at one point in time it was considered a death sentence. So with that being said, it was really helpful, and then it got me thinking, and I was talking to my boy Those Days Off Bullies and things like that, and I was like, this would make the most sense, especially for whelpers, for people who whelp other people's litters and things like that. This is the rule that we were talking about, that he has introduced, as well as, like, if I was to ever whelp somebody else's litter, this is the rule that I would introduce. This is what I do, just period. I was doing this already when it came to bringing in new dogs. But the rule is, as a whelper, or if you're even just going to bring in any new dogs, test the dogs before they enter your facility. If you got a new dog, test the dog for Parvo, test the dog for Giardia. You can even test the dog for brucellosis. That's another one. We may get the test strips on there for that, but that's like I said, that's besides the point. But you wanna test the dogs before you bring them in. That's the moral of what I'm getting at. Actually, I don't even want to say besides the point, because with the brucellosis test, that's canine, like the canine herpes virus. I'm already working on getting the test strips for those. But like I said, you want to test. I would say those are like the 3 top things I would test for bringing a dog into my facility: Parvo, Giardia, and like the brucellosis test. Because of the fact that you don't know what pathogens this dog is going to bring in, and then even on top of that, right? Even if you test for those things, I would still quarantine the dog. You know, quarantine the dog for a week or 2. You know, make sure everything's good with the dog, because that is a breeder's nightmare. Having, you know, you can have plenty of dogs. One dog comes in sick, they all get it. That would drive me nuts. I had that happen once, and unfortunately it was with one of my own dogs. I went to the vet against my better judgment. I mean, I had ran out of progesterone test strips. Who would have thought? I sell them and I ran out of them. Anyway, I ran out of progesterone test strips, and I went to the vet to get a test done. And sure enough, I brought the dog home, and she caught kennel cough, and they all got it, and it was driving me nuts. So anyway, moral of the story is, like I said, like, I think that is a great procedure to be mindful of, guys. When you guys are bringing new dogs, new puppies, whatever the case may be, if you're a whelper, anything that enters your facility, you should be testing them to prevent them. And I mean, especially like Parvo is a killer, you know. So things like that, test. And like I said, she was able to show the client something tangible, like, hey, look, they were all tested, you know, and not just word of mouth saying, hey, my dogs don't have it, they don't have any symptoms, they haven't gotten it a week or 2 even after you've told me, whatever, you know. So just something to be mindful, guys. I just wanted to share the story with you guys, because like I said, after talking with No Days Off Bullies, I was like, that's just a great procedure to have, to do, you know, to have in your arsenal to prevent the spread of diseases within your facility. Even other people's dogs. You know, some breeders will allow other breeders to bring their females for breedings. Like say I have my studs. We don't do this anymore. But if you had a female, you know, back in the day, and you wanted to breed to my stud, you know, you would bring your female to me, and I would do X amount of breedings, and then, you know, you'd come back, pick her up, and leave. The reason why we can't do that anymore is because of the fact, I mean, the dogs get bred too much. So, and we have to do progesterone timing and whatnot. So it actually makes it not really necessary. But besides the point, if you were bringing your dog in, I'm testing. I'm making sure she doesn't have any kind of brucellosis, Parvo, Giardia, things like that. You know. So even CCV, you know, canine coronavirus. So with that being said, guys, like I said, I hope this, you know, information was helpful. I hope it was useful. It's just a little quick thing I wanted to throw at you guys, unscripted. Like I said, you know, try to test these dogs before you bring them into your facility. And if you're a whelper, definitely, hands down, any litter that comes in, you want to be testing, because that's even worse. Now you have other breeders' puppies there, and you're not testing, and then something happens. That can be the ingredients for a disaster, a nightmare. And for what the test costs you, I mean, you don't got to get the test from us, but for what the test costs you, I mean, it's worth it, you know. It's worth it. So anyway, guys, I hope I covered everything. Hope this information was helpful. Hope it was useful. Drop a comment down below. If you're not subscribing, I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, I'll see you guys on the next episode of Breeders Hacks.